Shalom. Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. We're going to go in the news, linking things happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures via biblical prophecy. All right, to show the elect the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, faithful and true, as we chant down Babylon the Great, all right, which is America, as well as the beast system, the NATO, the EU, and all of the heathen, all right, who are aligned with them or who are either boasting, all right, and establishing a new world, a new way, all right, and Xing out the Son of the Most High who's going to rule on earth. All right, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who's going to establish a righteous government, all right, which goes by the throne of David, all right. That is the next world power that will rule, all right, after this one is disrupted, all right, after World War III, all right. It won't be Russia, it won't be China. They're not going to set up shop somewhere in Africa or the Middle East and establish a new world order as they're boasting in. Okay, that won't happen. America's going to be destroyed. All right, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is going to return to deliver his elect from the four corners of the earth, which are Israelites, who are going to come, all right, looking like many different nations, but they all have one thing in common. They're of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which according to a promise, a remnant of that seed, all right, issuing forth from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 tribes. All right, they will be as the sand of the sea in the latter days, but a remnant will return. All right, and through the Spirit, we believe through faith that we are fulfilling that prophecy. This is not something we planned. All right, this is all ordained through the Holy Spirit as we are moved to repent. All right, the prophets are moved to prophesy, teach, edify, exhort, and chant down this wicked, demonic beast system that has a grip on the planet Earth. So as you can see, I have here on the screen, U.S. banks are abruptly freezing accounts, halting withdrawals without warning or explanation. And if you've been paying attention, something is going on with these banks, all right? And everything, all right, is being boasted about going digital, because we believe and know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that what John the Revelator, our forefather, saw, all right, and wrote as a vision here in a book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, in particular 15 and 16 on down, all right. This speaks to everything that we're going through. You have to understand, when John the Revelator wrote this vision, he was witnessing the times that we're in, as the fourth beast, Rome, will be revived into the earth, all right, via America, all right, along with EU and the NATO. That creates the beast system, that completes it, all right. But they would do something in the latter days, all right, that will let us know that Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is just around the corner, and that would be, all right, establishing or trying to establish a new world order, which they put on the back of the dollar bill, all right, Annuit Conceptus Novus Order Seclorum, which is Latin, which ironically Latin is on the back of your dollar bill, right? Well, what does that mean? All right, it means the gods have granted us the go-ahead to establish our new world order, or our new secular order. Okay, and when you look at what these devils are boasting in, all right, I have here this off of Natural News: worse than central bank digital currencies, globalists push plan for worldwide financial enslavement under unified ledger. And everything is being presented, all right, as one: unity, peace, safety, a better way, all right, out with the old and in with the new. Okay, and when you read, we'll read a little bit of this before we get into the other articles, and then I have some videos as well because the Fed now is here. Okay, and banks are closing. Okay, and this all pretty much speaks to what John the Revelator saw, that a new digital system of buying and selling will be implemented. All right, in which that new digital system of buying and selling central bank digital currencies, and they even plan to go further. We know, all right, that they have plans, all right, that it must be implanted under the skin if you want to participate in society. These things are happening because biblical prophecy said it would happen. And for some reason, particular camps are reluctant to speak on these things. All right. But we're going to get some scriptures to show you that they're in error and they're not in the right spirit. So it says here, this is off of Natural News. If you thought the CBDC sounded dystopian, okay, just wait to read the new unified ledger agenda released by the Bank for International Settlements, okay, BIS, known as the Bank of Central Banks. All right, and just when you thought you heard about, the IMF, the UN and this and that, all of these various different groups who just pop up, all right, who are in these positions of power. Nobody voted for them to be in power because the Lord put them in power. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. Here's another one, BIS. You can look it up. The plan found at this link on bis.org is entitled Blueprint for Future Monetary System. See, improving the old, enabling the new. See, and what's happening is they're doing away with the old. All right, the standard way that we have been used to buying and selling, paper money, the greenback. They're pretty much, as you can see, banks are becoming obsolete. All right, banks that were close to you that you used to go to, or ATMs that you used to see, they're no longer there. Okay, and you have to ask yourself what's going on. And then when you do find a bank, and I know I've saw it, okay, I was going to put something in the bank, and there's a warning, like when you look on the screen, it says this, branch does not allow you to withdraw money. We're not allowing people to withdraw cash anymore. Okay, please, be patient with us until we get things underway. But again, what we've been telling you through the Spirit is that they're getting ready to crash this current system. Okay, this is why we're seeing, all right, U.S. banks are, a lot of weird things are happening with people's accounts. Okay, and again, we know that the order will come from chaos. All right, they're going to create these crazy situations to where people are losing. Okay, and then ultimately what we're going to see is a solution to the problem. And we know what that solution is eventually going to be. This is why it's called the hour of temptation. Okay, and you can read up on this, but U.S. banks are increasingly closing customers' accounts, freezing withdrawals without warning. According to new report, a growing number of people saying they're abruptly losing access to both their checking and savings accounts. Okay, and this is happening all over the world. Even certain brothers have had issues with their accounts. Certain believers have left comments saying that they're going through particular things with their accounts, or it's only going to worsen. All right, which is why we're going to have to be rooted, all right, and stable in the times that ultimately these days come. Okay, because as I have here, all right, nearly 100 banks are set to close in the coming weeks, and we keep seeing banks close. I know that I'm noticing banks closing. You may have a neighborhood you drive through and you notice banks are closing. I'm noticing it. And it's like, damn, why did they close that bank? Damn, what? And it all makes sense. All right. that ultimately they're getting ready to crash this current system. We don't have to read too much into that, but this is where it's all going. Okay, so let's get this in the book of Luke, the 21st chapter and the 34th verse. It says, "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life." Okay, it's only so long you're gonna be able to tell the Lord, I gotta do better. I know what I gotta do. I gotta do this. I gotta do. It's time to do it. All right, because we especially are gonna be without excuse if we don't have our shit together, and if our minds ain't made up, and we ain't fully sold out into this ministry, into this truth. And so that day come upon you unawares. Because while everybody's asleep, everybody's thinking it's going to get better, everybody's thinking everything's going to continue as it was, they don't really see, all right, the where it's all going. We see it. So what manner of person are you to be in all holy conversation, all right, in spiritual hymns, and ultimately chatting Babylon down? We have nothing to look back to. So it's going to take wisdom and knowledge to keep us stable as these things come. All right. And you still have particular brothers who are on the fence, and it's going to show. All right. In the times to come, for as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things, all right, that shall come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. Jeremiah 51:45. My people, go ye out of the midst of her. Okay, you still chasing the bag. I'll say you still got your mind, made up, on having a particular thing going here. All right, which doesn't mean you don't work, you don't do what you have to do to sustain yourself. All right, but you still have people's minds, all right, who is stuck on this mindset of increase, of this mindset of gaining their life. See, he who tries to gain his life, eventually you're going to lose, because when Yahweh Shai really starts to bring these plagues, and when he returns, he said, shall I find faith on the earth? So my people, go ye out of the midst of her, not meaning leave physically. This is a spiritual thing. And deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Unless your heart be faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. For a rumor shall both come 1 year. And we've been prophesying, preaching. People have said, y'all been saying that. All right, it's June, ain't no microchip. The RFID is not for buying and selling, it's just for location. Y'all niggas with that chip talk, that's stupid. Y'all crazy, y'all weirdos, blah, blah, blah. The Lord don't care if you take a chip. All right? So the rumors have, had Jake to get comfortable and, mocking and playing all of these games. All right? So after that, in another year shall come a rumor. And eventually, this is what's going to come. Violence in the land. And ruler against ruler. All right? Because the Lord is getting ready to judge this place. And the prophets are out reporting these rumors. And the rumors seem to be like, yeah, y'all said that the last week. Y'all said that the last year. Y'all said that the last month. The word is Shamwaya. Shamwaya. Report, news, rumor. All right, report, news. All right, as I do, brothers do in the news. I do the news and prophecies. Mention. What are we mentioning? All right, these rumors. All right, that we see coming in and out of the news. Okay. So if you're not stable, if you're not fully sold, okay, when these things come, your heart's going to faint. Okay? Blueprint for the future monetary system, improving the old, enabling the new. Okay? Going back to this article off of Natural News, this new plan describes an Orwellian globalist run, which you can't say these things anymore. So Lord willing, this video stays up. Saying this word here, I have it highlighted, I just said it, is going to be tied to anti-sim in just a minute. That's what a new article is talking about. All right. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can look that up real quick. Yep, there you go. And they've been talking about this. The term, yeah, that term, I was just looking at something, going in on that, but as you can see, this term is now, all right, and it's been, all right, anti-sim. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. It says, this plan describes an Orwellian, all right, globalist-run unified ledger that records the ownership of all assets, checking accounts, real estate, bonds, stocks on a centralized exchange run by them. All right, all assets will be tokenized, a process that the BIS describes as recording claims on financial or real assets that exist on a traditional ledger, all right, and on a programmable platform. Okay, this unified ledger will feature programmable entries, meaning that your ownership of assets can be revoked or altered at any time. And they're set, this is already in China to a degree. According to the social engineering desires of these people, if you speak out against, all right, child X trafficking, all right, for example, the child mutilations, all right, all your assets can vanish from your unified ledger, all right, and this is where we're going to have extreme faith, because again, you know, someone asked the Apostle Tahar, you know, will we be able to use the CBDCs once that system is set up? Well, we're using paper money now. So, yeah, I'm sure there will be a particular time where we will have to use the CBDC, okay, when it goes digital. All right, but once they really get their system set, okay, what we teach, what we say, who we are is going to revoke us rights and access to buying and selling. This will give them the power to be God on earth. That's how you will own nothing, in case you were curious. It says, this centralized globalist controlled unified ledger stands in sharp contrast to cryptocurrencies, which are structured on decentralized distributed ledgers with no centrally controlled authority. This is why, all right, they hopped in the game. All right, they threw that out there. You know, the cryptocurrency, people kind of was winning on that. All right, but they now they're in the game. All right, to move people, all right, by gradualism into this new system of digital money. And where will that digital money be on? All right, yeah, you may have a credit card at some point with the, you know, they have a form of chip on that. It's not RFID, but it's a form of a chip. All right, but now you see on particular, you go to particular stores, you see RFID accepted. Okay. So Bishop Nate, when he made that joke, RFID is only for tracking and you can't pay with it. Well, boom, there you go. That was disproved. Okay. Well, the new system, everything will be controlled. Additionally, the blockchains and are non-programmable. All right, most blockchains are non-programmable and also immutable, meaning no one can go back in time to retroactively change the ledger entries for Bitcoin, for example. All right, and you could keep reading on it. All right, but here's a video he did on it. All right, gold, silver, and crypto all allow self-custody while avoiding counterparty risk. All right, this is why everything is going digital. All right, BIS wants to harmonize all central banks under centralized, all right, these people control. Okay, this is where it's going. Okay, and here's the video he did on it. All right, you could watch that.
Welcome to Gradual broadcast.
It's an hour and 51 minutes. I looked at some of it, or maybe it was this one I looked at some of, but this is on his Brightian page. All right, July 10th, 2023, worse than CBDCs. Okay.
Until we see that, you can't say that he's fully recovered or that he never had a stroke or anything like that. So it's just amazing to me how they create such issues. But here it is. If you go to the store right now, it says the following: Dear valued customer, thank you for choosing our products and placing an order on our website. We would also like to express our gratitude to Mike Adams and his Health Ranger report for featuring our chlorine dioxide in his to have contact with him. I'd like to get somebody from that company on. Account will be shut down. The only people they allow to stay on Gemini apparently are people who don't use it, because that does not.
All right, you can listen to it. I mean, you know, I'm not going to play too much of it here, but here's the document. All right, the blueprint for future monetary system. Okay, and again, we know where this is all going. Okay, we know where it's all going. Okay, key takeaways. Money initiatives. A new type of financial market infrastructure, unified ledger, could capture the full benefits of tokenization. All right, let's look up what tokenization is. See if we can find the meaning of that. Tokenization, you know. Give me 1 second here. I'll just real quick Google. Tokenization. What is tokenization in simple terms? It refers to a process by which a piece of sensitive data, such as credit card number, is replaced by a surrogate value known as a token. Basically, digital money. Data. Okay? And this is what they're planning to do. And you can look up more on that. Tokenization of money. Okay. There you go. It's a CBDC, but this is another version of it. And assets has potential, great potential, but initiatives to have taken place in silos without access to central bank money and the foundation of trust it provides. A new type of financial infrastructure, a unified ledger, could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining central bank money, tokenized deposits, and tokenized assets on a programmable platform, as well as improving existing processes, all right, through the seamless integration of transactions. A unified ledger could harness programmability to engage arrangements that are currently not practicable, thereby expanding the universe of possible economic outcomes. Multiple ledgers, each with a specific use case, might coexist, interlinked by application programming interfaces to ensure, all right, the interoperability, as well as promote financial inclusion and level playing field. All right, and they have all of this hidden in these long, you know, complex, bills and all of that, but that's it, and if I forget to put this in the description, just type this in. It's on naturalnews.com if you want to know more about that. But the bottom line is that here in the book of Revelation 13 and 15, it says, And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we're witnessing them establishing their image. Okay, the idols, the alphabet lifestyle. Okay, you know, their Democrat and Republican system. This whole image of ancient Rome is being forced down your throat. And if you have something to say against it, they're using their left-right paradigm to set up a situation where you can be jailed for having your opinion, your religion. Okay, you're having to bow to their image. Okay, and then they're going to issue forth a mark, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right, the whole Ovid situation in 2020 was a form of them making you bow to their image. All right, taking their sauce. All right, and if you didn't do it, you would be, in a sense, killed off. All right, from the system. That word killed, not only does it mean put to death, but it actually means to separate. Okay, so we saw and we are seeing, all right, that if you have a particular mindset and you're not willing to bow the knee to their image, the image of Baal, as it says in Romans the 11th chapter, you're right, you can be separated, not able to partake. All right, and then eventually laws are going to be passed where you can be killed, hauled off without trial, and put to death, tortured. This is the type of stuff that's happening and is going to happen on an even greater scale. And then he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And if you take this, all right, you're putting his name, all right, on you. You're entering into a covenant marriage. Okay, you've entered into his system. You're a number within his system. You're a programmable, scannable, trackable, upgraded, all right, human. You see, made in his image for his purpose. Okay, let's check this out from the elder brother Arawam's page, Mysteries of the Kingdom. All right, the trilogy, subscribe and be edified. The Charagma, episode 75, it's here. Speed it up a little bit for the sake of time.
Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
German banking economist Richard Werner was selected as a global leader for tomorrow by the World Economic Forum in Davos in 2003. Here, he tells us an insider's view of what to soon expect, and says the only way to survive the Great Reset is for us to immediately begin setting up our own banking system.
In each domicile, they should be locally set up and authorized by the local regulators, and it's a profitable investment. Banking is profitable. Yeah. So the investors would get a return, while the local community would get a return, and it's a way of delaying, perhaps even preventing the introduction of CBDCs. They have literally delayed their agenda because I think it's so important to them. They've been very careful about the timing, and let's wait a little longer, let's have this crisis first, or let's have COVID first, soften them up. But they've delayed because the technology was really ready around 2015 to roll out. And what people don't mention is, what do these CBDCs actually look like? At the moment, there's a bit of talk about this being phone-based apps, and yes, that is the initial phase. But what was already ready?
See, the initial phase is on the phone. That's happening in China, but keep listening.
Around 2015 is the ultimate goal, what they really want. Apparently, I was told by a central banker, is, CBDCs looks like a small grain of rice that they want to put under your skin, which is, in my view, a violation of human dignity. And they realize there is a hurdle. So,
you heard that?
to get people to accept this, there will be, why suddenly are the billionaires saying let's have universal basic income? Because the story is going to be, now we've created this vast unemployment and disruption and crises. Well, we need universal basic income. You will get 2,000 euros into your account every month. But of course, to run this efficiently, we need to use the latest technology. So, you need the CBDC.
Right, and when they crash this system, it's going to be a temptation to us believers. See? This is why right now we should be practicing, all right, under this grace period, putting off this world, expecting the kingdom, understanding that we could potentially lose these comforts we have, all right, and go through trial periods and, different situations where we won't be comfortable, but the Lord All right, having the expectation that the Lord already has provision set. So you're going to have the mindset, all right, of losing this life to gain the kingdom. Okay, and most people don't have the expectation of the kingdom, but a lot of you who even act like you do, you're not showing it in your actions. So when that time comes, okay, you're gonna fold, and Lord willing, we remain strong, man. Revelation 13 or Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. See, this is a part of it right here, but it's gonna get even harder. All right, as this message is antagonistic to the NWO. Again, we always talk about Revelation 13 versus Revelation 14 playing out now. Them trying to establish their NWO, bring about their system, and us singing the new song. Okay, which is the only way out under the blood of Yahushua, is to testify of this message, preach this gospel, and stand firm in the face of adversity. So you have particular weirdos saying we're not going to suffer any persecution. Okay, well, okay. All right. Okay. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. All right. Why is it the word of his patience? Suffering and patience go hand in hand. This word patience means to suffer. So it's the word of his suffering, the word of his patience, because it's going to go against everything they're trying to do. Hupomone, steadfastness, constancy, endurance. Okay? In the New Testament, characteristics of a man who has not swerved from his deliberate purpose and his loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. So why is the scripture telling us, all right, to hold fast to the word of this patience, of his patience? Steadfast, enduring, sustaining, perseverance. So because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay? And people are stockpiling, and here I was looking at this, all right? They're trying to ban that. They're trying to ban people stockpiling. Okay? And it's going to be a shortage because they're hoarding all of the resources to themselves. So within this new world, this new system, there's going to be things you have to do in order to be able to qualify to even buy or sell before you get to the charagma. Before you're able to accept, all right, the UBI, which is a universal basic income, all right, they're going to try to starve you into submission, all right, which I'll get into that in another lesson. That goes into Revelation, the 6th chapter. That's what they're doing. So it's going to be an hour of temptation that's going to come up on all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Okay, you have many individuals who've blamed the ministry and turned their back. All right, and now you've allowed a man to take your crown. You're supposed to still be fighting and kicking and prying in this truth, man. Okay? To him that overcometh, you damn sure can't allow Esau to take your crown and bow to him, because he's threatening you with the fact you're not going to be able to eat and all of this crap he's talking about. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go out no more. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem. Meaning what? You will enter into that second covenant, receive the new bodies, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. And that word new means refreshed. Okay, meaning we're going to return to our original estate and come down and rule on earth in a righteous government, But before that, there's an integrity we have to show. And the system that these devils are trying to set up is all centered around, okay, you bowing to them.
Chip implant, but how many people will say, okay, fine, £2,000, €2,000, you know?
A surprising proportion, shockingly, obviously, to me or yourself, but we've seen years ago in Sweden, there has been a substantial small minority take-up of what's currently much larger. It's kind of like a little cylinder in stainless steel, I guess, maybe it's titanium or something, and they're doing it because they just want to. They want to be early adopters of this nonsense. So if anyone's listening and that sounds fanciful or conspiracy theorish, the fact is in Sweden, they are taking it up and in other places, and that's not coming out of nowhere.
The Bank for International Settlements recently published a report called Blueprint for the Future Monetary System, Improving the Old, Enabling the New. This report proposes that a central bank digital currency will serve as the new reserve currency. And
this is what we were just reading. So they're going into it.
Calls for the digital confiscation of all physical property by assigning every real-world item its own unique digital token, which will contain rules on how each item can and cannot be used, so that each person can be controlled and conditioned directly by the central bank.
Across the millennium years is crunch time in this whole agenda, crunch time for the human race. This is the time when this network of interbreeding bloodlines wants to bring in its global fascist structure of a world government to which nation states would be administrative units, of a world central bank and a world currency, a currency that wouldn't be cash, it would be merely electronic, for which there are fundamental implications for human freedom. And also the world army, which is designed to be NATO, expanding and expanding as it is now, of course, to become the fully fledged world army, world police force. And underpinning that little lot is designed to be a microchip population, in which we are microchipped with our financial details, our medical details, etc., etc. And that would allow not only electronic tagging, people knowing where we are all the time, it would allow the external manipulation through this electronic means of our mental and emotional processes. This will happen unless the human race wakes up and wakes up fast. And to do that, we need to understand what's really going on. And to let people know that, we've got to stop beating about the bush, stop pulling punches, stop pussyfooting around, keeping information from people, oh my goodness, how will they react? And just say, this is going on, take it or leave it, make of it what you will, but this is what's going on.
Commonwealth Bank has scrapped cash withdrawals and deposits at many branches across Australia, with customers no longer able to access their money over the counter. Telecash transactions are not available at branches, including Commonwealth Bank Place in the centre of Sydney, along with the nearby South Eveleigh, Barangaroo, Penrith and University of Sydney, which the bank now calls specialist centres. Daily Mail Australia also understands some specialist centre branches in Brisbane and Melbourne no longer permit over-the-counter cash withdrawals and deposits. Deposits and withdrawals can still be made via on-site ATMs, but for those who don't have their bank card handy, things can be much more difficult. Cardless cash withdrawals of up to $500 a day using the CommBank app are available, but for those who need more funds or don't have their phone with them, their money cannot be accessed. Customers will need to locate a branch that still does offer teletransactions and trouble there. Many Aussies are outraged by the Commonwealth Bank's decision to open all cashless branches. One saying, bank branches without money, crazy. That's like having a petrol station with no fuel. Another jokes, a bank without cash, that makes real sense. A third suggested that everyone change their bank where this is happening. The shift to cashless branches follows another of Australia's big four banks also making the switch with very little warning. ANZ said in March that it was stripping back some of its services and that certain branches would no longer carry physical cash. The bank didn't disclose at the time.
And this all speaks to what's on the back of the dollar bill. Okay. They were basically telling you what they were going to do. Okay. They were telling you. Okay. Out with the old, the money, this green money that we know is the end of this system and the bringing in of a new world, man. Okay. The gods have granted, all right, have accepted our, plan to establish a novus order seclorum, a new order of the ages, right? So they're getting ready to do away with paper money, okay? And something is going on with these banks, all right? J.P. Morgan suffers billions of dollars of loss as 6 U.S. banks execute massive write-off reports. So the largest banks in the U.S. are reportedly taking big hits on their bottom line as borrowers default on billions of dollars worth of loans, yada, yada, yada. Something's going on, right? Something's going on. Putin, all right, don't think he ain't with the New World Order. Signs law on digital ruble. They're planning on going digital. Vladimir Putin on Monday signed a new law on digital ruble in Russia, the third form of the national currency. So we see it now. We can clearly see that worldwide, it's not just here in America, worldwide, there are plans to establish digital money. Okay, the document introduces the basic concepts necessary for the introduction of a digital ruble. Okay, again, remember the Lord said, I'm against you, O God. Just because we talk about Russia, because they're going to be used to, you know, destroy Israel and America, doesn't mean, okay, that these devils ain't with the NWO as well, man. Okay, they're going to be pushing the charagma over there as well. Okay, they're just tired of the West as a world power, man. Okay, BRICS leaders say days of U.S. dollar-centric world are over as group expands trade and alternate currency. So the dollar is getting ready to be done, all right, and those alternate currencies, all right, some say gold, but they will as well be digital, all right, which this goes to the prophecy in Obadiah. The men that were at peace with thee, those who have ate thy bread, all right, have laid a womb for thee. All right, so we see many prophecies, as you see here, you know, Brazil, China, Russia, India, South Africa, which are all scoffing at, you know, America for the most part, are looking to strengthen economic ties among member nations by settling trades in their own national currencies, man. But the dollar falling ain't that easy for, you know, the likes of China, you know, in these various different countries. So it's going to take a catastrophic event, but we see things moving towards the end of the dollar either way it goes. Okay, and also let's get into Fed Now, which launched. Okay, we'll play the majority of this video and another one, and we'll close it up. But just wanted to get into some prophecy, you know.
3 days ago, this whole thing here was passed. It's the Federal Reserve's website, the Fed Now program. It's their central bank digital currency, the foundation for it. And right now they're saying it's just for instant payment type of thing. It's not really a central bank digital currency. It's not going to replace the dollar. Of course, they eventually will, and they say it in their own video. I'll show that in this. But I got to thinking about this last night, and I was thinking about the Great Depression, what happened with the run on the banks. Well, back in the Great Depression, 1929, the stock market crashing and all that, the stock market crashed and people panicked and they went to the bank and they said, I want my money. Well, the banks were spending the people's money, so they didn't have all of the money there. And pretty soon they ran out of money. It's called a run on the banks. And so they had to close down. So there were a lot of people that lost all of their money. But what was really going on back then is people were using paper currency. Well, today, if you know anything at all about the modern banking system, it's still the same thing. It's what's called fractional reserve banking. In other words, they only keep a small portion of your money in the bank. You put $1 into the bank, and they will literally find a way to spend it. My wife just got a book not long ago from the American Banking Association or something. She found it at a used bookstore, and they literally were saying, if we get $1, we need to find a way to lend that out. I'm not joking, $1. So the banks here in America take people's money and they spend it. That's why if you go into the bank and you say, I need $10,000 in cash or something like that, you know, to buy a car off of Craigslist or some other thing that people require cash, the bank will panic and we don't have that kind of cash. We don't know what to do. All right. So they don't have the paper currency there. There's no little box with your name on it that has all of your cash in. All right. That's not.
Yeah. Fractional reserve banking is wicked. All right. They can say they have $1 million in the actual branch, but physical cash, you know, they only have $100,000. All right. And the rest is just credit that they're able to lend out money on and charge interest on it. Fractional reserve banking is the biggest scam going. Okay, and who has the power over that? Who owns the Federal Reserve? Okay, did you vote them into office? Is it regulated? No. Okay. And now these secrets are now out to the normal everyday people. See, and our apostles and elders have been breaking this down since since before I came in 2007. But when I came in, this is what they were talking about, and it's here. Now you're seeing everybody else jump on the bandwagon, which is cool because that's prophecy as well. All right, but we've been telling you these things, man.
The way it works. So we've already have a digital currency. Or digital transactions, I'll say it that way. They're still cash.
There you go, yeah, because the money that they're loaning out is just there. It's not physical money they're loaning out. It's credits that just appear on a computer. All right, so they've been doing this, but they're just deepening and broadening the infrastructure.
Cash, which is a good thing, but something major to think about here. But the point I'm trying to make is I was thinking about this and I thought first Great Depression, they stole the people's money. It was paper money back then. And I got to thinking about it this time and I thought, we know that they don't have the cash in the bank right now. So your money, it's basically just digits on a computer screen. But I got to thinking about that and I thought, how could they steal the money from the American people when the dollar crashes and things? Would there be a way that they could steal it? What if they had a new system that was just put in place this past Thursday? It's the 23rd today. On the 20th is when it was released. What if they could find a way to instantly transfer money from one bank to another? It says here, the FedNow service is a new instant payment infrastructure developed by the Federal Reserve that allows financial institutions of every size across the U.S. to provide safe and efficient instant payment services. See, it's payment, it's not transfer. Yes, it is. We'll see about that here in a minute. Through financial institutions participating in the FedNow service, business and individuals can send and receive instant payments in real time around the clock every day of the year. Financial institutions and their service providers can use the service to provide innovative instant payment services to customers, and recipients will have full access to funds immediately, allowing for greater financial flexibility when making time-sensitive.
So a lot of people are going to be moving from, the big banks to the credit unions and this like that, but all of them are eventually going to be forced into this system. You're going to have particular businesses that are like, we're not allowing, the RFID, they're not going to want to get down, but they're going to be swallowed up in the grand scheme of things because of the power and control that these people have.
Payments. The FedNow service will be deployed in phases, with the initial launch taking place July 2023, 3 days ago, on the 20th. The video below follows a payment over the FedNow service from start to finish, highlighting what financial institutions need to know about their role in the process. The first release of the FedNow service will provide baseline functionality that will support market needs for a range of use cases, including those growing in demand such as account-to-account transfers, and bill pay. So you're saying, in other words here, that they can actually transfer your funds out of one bank to another? See, in the past, a bank president, they would have to take the actual cash and run. But now, push of the button, just click the mouse, boom, transfer. Or with your phone or whatever, you use your finger or whatever else. Pretty incredible. But this thing is going to lead to the mark of the beast. I'm telling you that right now. It's Bible prophecy. Right? If you're not familiar with the passage of Scripture, I will go there really quickly. Revelation chapter 13.
See, now everybody's on it, which is good. We don't have a problem with it. The Lord said he was going to pour his spirit up on all flesh. So now everybody's catching on. All right. But it's too late for you Christians, man. I'm going to say that. But it's a good thing. We want this to be talked about. These are the times we're in. There's no way around it, because, see, the elite are somehow, some way trying to separate what they're doing from what's written in the Bible. There's no way to do so. All right. So the next big thing, they're going to have to just pull the plug on the internet.
13 is the number of cursing in the Bible, like the cursed thing, in other words. Revelation 13, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. We are seeing the birth of this movement right here. Okay, now listen to what is said in this.
Yep, and the 666, as we always bring out, chi side stigma. Chi, the first letter in Christ, anointed. It's an X. They're going to X out the anointed. Xi, all right, which goes into their left-hand wisdom and different philosophies, and they're going to implement their image. Okay, we see that Tesla logo, the E. All right, and that Tesla logo, that's a Psi. The E in the Biden administration logo campaign, it's all over the place. We see in that E. All right, that's the Psi. That's a Greek Psi. So you got Chi, Psi, then you have stigma. All right, which is a system of branding or tattooing to mark your subjects so that they can show that they have made an oath with you. So John the Revelator saw a modern digital technical version of that very branding system. You marking your subjects, all right, in a vision of today. So we're not stupid. All right, we ain't crazy for bringing these things out. It only makes sense. All right. This is a technical version. All right. Using technology of an ancient system of branding your subjects, or your subjects being forced to brand themselves or tattoo themselves or get a tattoo or whatever it may be to show veneration to the ruler or the system. The word mark is charagma. One of the definitions is a brand put on horses or cattle for what? To show ownership. See? And this will make you a traceable, trackable, scannable product in their system. Okay?
This video, and they will tell you that there are future technologies coming. This is just the first phase, this first release, you can see right there. Okay? Just the first phase, but they have new phases coming. That's why we have to resist this stuff. Okay? It's in the Bible, it's prophecy, it will eventually come in the future. But we have to fight it. Okay? You say, well, then you're fighting against God. No, what we're doing is we are hindering the system and waking people up, telling people about this thing. Because if you just say, oh,
well, that goes to Revelation 14, but that's the Israelites ultimately who have the true testimony. But again, these Christians are going, these Edomite Christians and these people are going to rebel as well. They're going to rebel in a carnal sense. Okay? And the Lord is going to give, he's going to, then shall it be known who is the chosen, who has the true testimony, the true witnesses, the two witnesses, Judah and Ephraim, the remnant, all right, the tabernacle of David being rebuilt. Okay? And some of these people who you think are Edomites are going to find out they're Jakes too. It's another aspect. But the Lord and the angels are going to be, all right, in charge of that process. All right? And I know that just makes you Wesley Snipe looking Israelites just tremble. Was your ass may be an Edomite. All right? The Lord's will be done, man. That's all I'm worried about.
oh, well, whatever, it's prophesied it'll come in. Then people just think, oh, well, nobody really fought against it, so I guess it's okay. And they can implement the system of central bank digital currencies far before the mark of the beast system comes in. As a body of Christ, we need to fight the Antichrist system and hinder them up until the time.
You're not going to hinder them. What we do is ultimately testify, expose, preach, prophesy. And it's a thorn in their side. Indeed, that's why they're moving so fast. Okay?
The Lord catches us home. Okay? So let's listen to what's said here in this video.
Of FedNow capabilities, or sign on as a receive-only participant. The initial launch of the FedNow service will focus on core clearing and settlement capabilities. Additional features will be released in phases to meet evolving industry demands and changes in technology.
To meet evolving industry demands and changes in technology. Changes in technology. We'll be coming out with new ones. What's all this stuff down in here? It's blurred, and you can't see it. Oh boy. Pretty bad stuff. I would suggest that you get your money out of the bank as much as possible. Buy things physical wealth like gold, silver, platinum, things like that. Be very careful about just leaving all your money in the bank. And of course have things like food as well and other things that you might need in the future. Clothing and things, food and raiment, like the Bible says, to be content with that. I'd be very, very careful about having all of your money in the banking system because they can now instantly transfer it. So they want to take down more banks as the dollar is collapsing here in this country. They can instantly transfer all of your funds to some other bank in Switzerland or something like that. Pretty crazy. So the infrastructure, I'll just say this, for this not cryptocurrency, but the central bank digital currency, say it that way, the infrastructure is not there. It's not some kind of a thing that they're going to be able to just flip a switch and everybody can now just use digital currency. There's a lot of things that are cash based in our economy. So it's going to take some time for them to, implement their system. But I just got to thinking about this and I thought, for them to really bring in a central bank digital currency, they're going to need some kind of a major crisis to happen.
And who's been telling you that? Who's been telling you that?
And they now have the ability to instantly transfer your funds in the bank and mine as well. Transfer, just boom, to some other place, to another bank. Just insane. Pray about it and fight it as well as you can.
And lastly, I wanted to play this clip from Glenn Beck.
few things together. First of all, go back to Maxine Waters and what she said about ESG yesterday. Listen.
It's become a dirty word for corporate America. It's gotten so politicized.
It certainly has gotten politicized, and it's unfortunate because it's inevitable.
This nigga got out of the casket to do this interview, and she's gonna jump back in the casket when the interview is over.
That everyone is going to have to participate in dealing with.
Okay, stop. Okay, mandatory. It will be mandatory. You will have to participate in ESG. So everything they said about a conspiracy theory is now clearly off the table. They're saying it. So you will have to deal with a social credit score. Now I want you to listen to what Kamala Harris said at the AI meeting yesterday.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters.
Oh my God.
This is top 5 worst niggas ever. I don't know if she's an Israelite. Some people say yes, some people say no. I don't know too much, but this is, and sometimes it's not even her. This is a weird administration right here. This place is through. But listen up, I just had to say that. This nigga right here just gives me horrible energy, man. You just know behind closed doors this thing is doing something terrible, man.
It means artificial intelligence, but ultimately what it is.
So you will have to deal with a social credit score. Now I want you to listen to what Kamala Harris said at the AI meeting yesterday.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters.
Oh my God.
It means artificial intelligence, but ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then if we think about what information is going in.
Okay, what she's saying here is that we are going to teach AI about ESG. We're going to talk to the computer and teach the algorithms to look for equity, to look for social justice, to look for environmental wrongs, to look at governance. Now remember, Maxine Waters just said this is inevitable. Everyone will be forced. You'll have to deal with it. Now they're talking about AI, making that an all-seeing, all-knowing policeman. So now what is the punishment? Let me bring you to central bank digital currency. This is from page 154 of Dark Future. Now, tie all these things together. Listen carefully. When people think of digital currencies, they usually think of decentralized blockchain currencies like those discussed earlier in this chapter. But a U.S. central bank digital currency would likely be completely different, especially if it's developed under the Biden administration or another leftist White House. Why? Because they're going to teach it. Although developers of CBDCs promise these new currencies will be safe and designed to protect some privacy rights, footnote 373, one of the primary appeals of a CBDC is, from the perspective of governments, is that it would be programmable, meaning it could be designed to act in a certain way based on predetermined criteria. So tie this in. You're going to have an ESG score. It's going to be tied with AI watching you, and now a digital currency that is responsive to AI and those scores. A programmable central bank digital currency could be designed so it could only be utilized for certain kinds of purchases, or so that it has limits on the amount of times it can be used to buy certain goods or products. It's even more likely that some CBDCs, including a U.S. digital dollar, would be designed so the rules for its use could change over time. So if the geniuses at the Fed wake up one day and determine that the U.S. digital dollar should no longer be used to buy gasoline-powered cars, ammunition, guns, alcohol, fatty foods, or pretty much anything else they want to ban, federal bureaucrats could, with a push of a few buttons, make their little authoritarian dreams become a reality. Depending on how the law is written governing CBDC, it is possible, and I would argue likely, that additional legislation would not be required to make such changes. In other words, CBDCs are created in Europe and North America, and the Fed and other central banks, not a democratically elected legislature, are likely going to be in charge of how those digital dollars are used. That's how the Federal Reserve and some other central banks act today with very little oversight. A programmable digital CBDC could also easily be tracked, taken away, or have their supply greatly expanded, and on short notice. Think how effortless it would be for the Fed to provide a shiny new stimulus plan in an era of the digital dollar. Just make a phone call, wrap some keys on a keyboard, and boom, $1 trillion delivered to 100 million people, all within a couple of minutes. With all these possibilities in mind, is it difficult to imagine why a central bank or its allies in national governments would want to develop a CBDC? So tie this again together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends have no idea what ESG is. It is vital that they understand that. That's what the entire first book was about. Once you understand that that's not a conspiracy theory, that that is a way to control corporations first, all the way down to you in the end. And when I say the end, I'm not talking 5 years out. I'm talking the next 18 to 24 months. It will control you. Then, when that is forced on everyone, you have an AI monitoring your every move. If you don't have the right credit score and they introduce CBDC, central bank digital currency, and it is programmable, exactly what Kamala Harris was talking about with AI, putting the information in that the government wants it to have, so it will have certain parameters that these leftists want to have in for your money. It's not your money. If you step out of bounds, if you complain about LGBTQ, they don't need the FBI to investigate you.
Right.
AI will already know what you've written, who you're talking to, what you said at any kind of meeting or any meeting where your phone is on. And
so the image will control everything. See? And the mark will lock you into that system to where if you're against anything that the image is for, you won't be able to what? Buy and sell. All right? You won't be able to, all right, your social credit score will be lowered to where you can't participate in society. And if it gets to a point, all right, you can be totally, all right, cut off or put to death. This is the system they're trying to implement. And then not to mention the carbon aspect. All right, your limitations in carbon and your footprint.
if you think that I am exaggerating, you are sadly misled and misguided. It will gather all of the information automatically, and it will change your score in real time, and you won't be able to do things that you want to do. We told you yesterday about how transportation, you're not going to be able to fly and go places. You're not even going to be able to drive your car from city to city if you don't have a perfect score. And as I told you yesterday or the day before, the UNESCO, outlined in 2019 that you could have a low ESG score if you're a journalist. Why? Because you're going to be talking to people whose view does not agree with ESG or one of the other things that they're measuring. And if you talk to them for your job as a journalist, your point will go down, your score will go down, and you may not be able to drive your car. You'll have to ride a bus. This is not science fiction. This is true. And it is happening, and I do not want you to take my word for it. You'll notice I said, this is page 156, and I told you that it was what, footnote 373?
I think so.
This whole thing is footnoted, so everything is clear that you can go and find the original source. And again, listen to what they're saying today. They were lying to you then when they said this is a conspiracy theory, because they are saying today you must, it's inevitable, and you will have to participate. It's inevitable. I thought it was a conspiracy theory. So today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's absolute fact. And by tomorrow, you could be in a digital jail. You need to understand what's happening, and you can find it all in the book, Dark Future. It is incredibly important that you understand it. And if you know people that will ask honest questions, whose mind can be changed still, with facts, not theories, not conspiracies, but with facts, and you and they will do their own homework. And
Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come to pass. All right, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. All right, and that him is speaking of Esau. All right, and we are going to have to live by faith in these times, man. Okay, Psalms 27:13, I have fainted unless I have believed to see the goodness of Yahweh in the land of the living. Wait on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord, because you have to think, you know, where you ask, well, how am I going to do this? What if this? What if the Lord is going to take care of his elect, man? It's already written, just like what these devils are trying to do was already written, man. So that's it for that. Lord willing, y'all were edified. We'll be back with more. On to the next.